In this video, I will go over how I lost 40% yield farming using the Finance platform on the Kronos blockchain. But more importantly, I will go over the important lessons learned so as not to repeat the mistakes and help some of you watching who may be interested in yield farming. So after making some good gains using Finance in the lead up to this, you can find a link to the video above where I describe making 42 and 30% respectively in less than a week on 2 different farms. I got into a bit of a larger stake into a newer protocol and a liquidity pool. And basically the price began to drop within hours. And overall, I lost 40% of my initial investment before I was able to unstake my funds and claim any rewards that I had. This farm and especially the associated farm can still be profitable if you play them right. But in this video, I will go over some important lessons or reminders to myself to reduce the risk significantly of suffering such a large percentage loss again. But even though the percentage of my stake lost was large, up to 40%, the amount I staked is a very, very small percentage of my overall crypto stake. So it is high risk, high reward, but I was putting in quite a small stake overall. So here are the lessons learned and how to avoid potential future losses. Always look for a chart of the 2 assets you are adding liquidity to. Remember, when yield farming, you have to add a pair of tokens, so it's good to check the charts for both those tokens. When I got into this pair that I made the big loss, it was the SPES MMTF pair, and I didn't check the chart first, which I should have. So that's an important lessons learned. And good places to look for charts for any tokens that you are looking to enter into. Those up on screen now: CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, PoolCoin.app, LiveCoinWatch, and DexScreener. Always be more wary if you cannot find a chart for one of the 2 tokens that you are trying to add into the liquidity pool for. Another important lesson learned, for me at least, is to don't just go for the high percentage APR. In this case, this yield farm was fairly new, so the percentage APR was pretty high. But when yield farming, always look to balance risk with reward. Obviously, in this case, it was a higher reward but higher risk stake. And in the end, I used a very small percentage of my overall crypto account. So if you are going higher risk, higher reward, you could potentially use a much smaller percentage of your overall crypto account. And vice versa, if you're going for a lower risk, lower reward, you could use a larger percentage of your account. In this case, it was a higher reward but also higher risk stake. But I used a very small percentage of my crypto account, and at the end I'll let you know how much actually I lost in USD. Also, don't forget the transaction fees. I mainly stake and yield farm on the Binance Smart Chain, and the fees are quite low there. So this was only my 3rd or 4th time staking on the Kronos chain, and in this case the fees were 8.7% of my initial investment. So higher than expected. It's good I kept a record of it, so I know in future when trading on Kronos chain and you pay fees in the CRO token. Another very important lesson is to always check the TVL, or the total value locked, before and also especially while your stake is in there. You can unstake anytime generally. There may be a fee you have to pay for unstaking early, but always keep an eye on the total value locked. Okay, so how much did I actually lose in terms of USD? We know the percentage loss was about 40%. Okay, so I got into this farm with 156 Crow token, 78 each for the token pairs that I was adding liquidity to, and that was $73.53. And when I was able to unstake, I came out with $24.78 without the bonus. The bonus rewards were $4.97. So overall, I put in an initial of 75.53, come out with 29.75, just under 41% loss. 66% if I don't count the bonus. That's just on the LP tokens. And the fees were about 8.7% of my initial, or $6.41 on fees. So again, I put in 73.53, come out with 29.75, just under 41% loss.